A lot of things have happened since this fight was originally booked for last April. Jordan Leavitt twerked against Paddy Pimblett, and he ended up getting submitted in the matchup. But coming up this weekend, we have the return of the Brick, Victor Martinez, and for VMart, Matt, can you believe it? I mean, listen, the guy was able to go out there, 5-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, 32 WAR, in his year 35 season, when he was 35 years old, he finished second for the MVP. Matt, can you believe it that he's fighting in the UFC?
Yeah,
it's not that former catcher that played for the Tigers? Oh, it's Victor Martinez that fought on Dana White's Contender Series in 2021? Where's he been? I don't know, but for Victor Martinez, Matt, baseball jokes aside, for the 5% of you that understood what I did, he's a really interesting fighter. And it's a shame that he's been out for this long, because Martinez has really slick boxing. He gets taken down quite a bit. He's able to scramble out of bad positions. He is a fun fighter. And for Martinez, training out of Team Fajeda and Fortis MMA, like, I'm sure he makes those car rides for Carlos Diego Fajeda a lot more fun from their gym all the way to Fortis MMA.
I would say.
It was pretty fun going back and watching the tape study on Martinez, a former Fury champ. He was a guy that was able to go out there on Contender Series, get a win over a guy who was making his second time out of Contender Series in Jacob Rosales. And before that fight came up, the graphic popped up from Yanni the Greek, and it read, believes he should be a -300 favorite or better, but not Martinez, Rosales.
Wow.
So that pick was wrong, but we make wrong picks on the channel sometimes as well. Matt, I found it very interesting in the promo pack for that fight too, because Victor Martinez said the first fight that he ever saw was Clay Guida against the forever prospect, Roger Huerta. So how cool is that? That's a banger of a fight if you want to go back and watch it. But Matt, for Martinez, I like, the fans by now should know Jordan Leavitt, and we'll give him his flowers and we'll talk about him as well. But for Martinez, he's probably going to be forgotten about because he hasn't fought in such a long time.
And that is too bad. I agree with you 100%. He's a guy who's 31 years old now, so he has missed out on a little bit of his prime, and I think that is fair to say.
Also, I should say this. That was the best picture that I could find. I enhanced it. I did as much Photoshop as I could to it. He has no side profile pictures on the internet. He's been just living under a rock.
He's got bricks in his hands, though, and that cannot be denied. Like, the thing about Victor Martinez is he doesn't need to throw hard, and it looks like he throws really hard. And he does have incredible hand speed, so it is very rare that one of his shots doesn't look like it's going to land very hard. But this fight is easy to predict, but very difficult to predict because it's so easy. Is Jordan Leavitt going to get lit up on the feet for as long as he's striking in this matchup? Probably. I'd even say he gets knocked out if he eats a very clean hook from a guy like Martinez, because Martinez might lack some of the more fine skills with his defensive grappling. Again, like you bring up, he is susceptible to the takedown, especially when he does try to land his own shots. You can get underneath some of his boxing combinations and take him down as a result of that. So for Jordan Leavitt, there is a clear path to victory, but the problem is that clear path is full of combinations from Victor Martinez. So either Leavitt gets on top of him and looks great. The weird thing about Leavitt is no one's going to give you a very good opinion as to who Leavitt is because of, like you mentioned, like all the extra stuff, like the twerking, the him fighting Paddy Pimblett. Like anytime you fight one of these very famous polarizing figures, no one's ever going to give you just a down the middle opinion on one of these fighters. But for Jordan Leavitt, he's a basic striker who leaves his head very high up in the air. He will hold his hands up somewhat and throw a lot of kicks behind it. But the problem is, if he's fighting a guy like Martinez who's going to be able to go to the body and throw in combinations, Martinez is going to be a step ahead of him on the feet, and that's the problem. Leavitt's a guy who will fall into traps, especially with his striking, and that's where Martinez can completely capitalize and have a very, very nice finish.
It's weird because Jordan Leavitt's 3-2 in the UFC. He got a performance bonus in his debut against Matt Wyman, where he slammed the smile off his face, which is scary. Goodness. And now we're here. So it's a weird fight for Leavitt. It feels like wanting to get him back on track against a guy making his UFC debut that's all been but forgotten. But for Martinez, again, Saif Saud, Carlos Diego Fajeda, the two main guys that are going to be there and around the gym. And when I do look at everything, it's weird because, like, when I look at Martinez fight, he's fought at lightweight, he's fought at welterweight, he's fought some catchweight fights, he's had issues making the weight for 155. But, like, body type-wise, he looks like a guy that would fight at featherweight. Like, he's not very tall, and he's kind of got
welterweight.
A little bit of meat on the bone. So I don't mean any disrespect by that whatsoever. It's just, to me, it's odd to see the weigh-ins for a guy like that. And for Martinez, too, I say he can sweep off his back, and he gets out of some of these bad positions. But when he's getting taken down in a lot of these fights, it's a lot of single-leg takedowns from either open space or up against the cage. Jordan Leavitt's favorite move, high crotch single leg takedown in every single fight. So for me, there's definite paths to victory for both guys. Obviously, you know the jiu-jitsu credentials for a guy like Jordan Leavitt. obviously, the staying power, the lasting power for a guy like Martinez, because he got dropped in the first round of his fight against Gonzalez, and then he came back and landed 54 significant strikes in the second round, 58 significant strikes in the third round. And out of all of these fights, again, even the one against Nico Echeverri, which was now 3.5 years ago, he knocks him out, but he gets taken down really early in that fight. So a lot of things that you like in a Martinez. Bricks in his hands, hand speed's great, mixes in a leg kick. Jordan Leavitt does the Anthony Smith Muay Thai knee where he walks in. But he does it Smith will do that back against the cage to offer up a little bit of a different look. Yeah, and Jordan Leavitt does it as he's trying to walk you down, but it's not like he's Sidichai.
It's not like he's Jose Aldo. That's the problem with Leavitt. It's unnecessary movement on the feet. There's two different kinds of defense. Think about fighters who hold their hands up. That is one form of defense. That's good. Some fighters don't even hold their hands up. Good thing about fighters like Dustin Poirier.
Even Marchand Pratt, he just walks around.
Or Conor McGregor in his prime. Then you think about fighters who have a reactive defense, who not only hold their hands up, but can react to the punches as they're being thrown towards them. Jordan Leavitt only puts his hands up. He doesn't necessarily have the next level movement that you would look for from a pure striker.
Well, when you do look at this one, the former STFC staple and Fury lightweight champ. He's a slight underdog in the matchup. Jordan Leavitt slightly favored to get the win. We have a look at the Topology votes in this matchup, Matt. I'm going to say over under 70% Jordan Leavitt. I think the fans are going to go with him in this
I think it'll be over. Yeah, I do see him as being
due to the inactivity, and it is. So 699 total votes, 81% Leavitt, 52% by decision, 40% by submission. Matt, these guys each have definite strengths over one another. It's tough to say who's going to be able to get the win because I've seen Martinez withstand onslaughts by guys like Jordan Leavitt and vice versa. I've seen Jordan Leavitt kind of struggle against certain strikers. Trey Ogden, did he win that fight against Jordan Leavitt? Chintzy decision maybe, but Leavitt was able to kind of grind it out and make it boring in certain aspects as well. Now, Leavitt's one of those guys. He has really, really impressive submission victories on his record. The win over Matt Sales was one where you don't see a lot of inverted triangles like he was able to get out there. He's got Anaconda wins, heel hooks as well over Johnny Walker, but not that Johnny Walker. So for Leavitt, very creative once he does get it down to the mat. But that high crotch single leg could be a huge difference maker in this one.
And I think it will be. That's why I do have Jordan Leavitt in this matchup. Could he get knocked out in the opening, 2 seconds of this fight? Yes, he probably could. But again, I'd rather go with the devil I know over the one that I don't know. And for Martinez, unless he does show me a very impressive performance against a guy like Jordan Leavitt this weekend, it is going to be really difficult to just put him in the whole hierarchy of the lightweight division. Because let's say he goes out there and knocks out Jordan Leavitt in the first round. You probably got to fight a Bonfim brother now. The lightweight division is as stacked as any division possibly can be. So even if he does go out there and beat a guy like Jordan Leavitt, it's just nothing but difficult fights afterwards. So I do have Leavitt because of the well-roundedness of his grappling. I think he's going to be able to hold Martinez down if he is able to get him down. So that's why I have Leavitt.
Ferreira is one of those guys. I mean, Diego was ranked in this division. So he is a great guy to train with, and he can drown you in those or on the mat and in the gym. But for me, I will go with Leavitt ever so slightly. But guys, Victor Martinez, good shot as a slight underdog in this matchup. He's a great striker, so look out for Martinez in the matchup. But both of us going with Jordan Leavitt, a big-time matchup in this lightweight division. And light heavyweight, it's on the marquee, it's on the poster. Krylov taking on Spann. You're not going to want to miss. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say. Let's get into it.